Now, technology. How do you determine which technologies you want? First of all, how do you get technology? You get it from research efficiency. That gives monthly research, and that gives research progress. Generally, what you want is try and focus to get like 100 to 150% research efficiency. If you have more than that, it will, it's less worth it. It's not worth the investment usually. You won't get more than a single tech ahead. 100 to 150% allows you to catch up, and you'll have plenty of tech. The higher skill your researcher is, the bigger the research speed bonus he gives. However, what is more important is the traits. A number of traits, like Scholar and Polymath and Obsessive, which is also shown in the GUI, if you have them, you get a chance to get additional innovations in a queued event here. Remember, you have to actually click on it to get the notification. Make sure to watch for that. Generally, if, let's say in this case I have a researcher that's level 10. However, this research is better because the additional innovations I will get from having a scholar is worth more than the 2 levels of difference. Generally, if there's more than or less than 5 levels of difference, pick the one with the special traits. The more researchers you have with the traits, the higher the chance that you can get the event. As tribes, you should basically only appoint people with traits because you'll likely have an extremely low research efficiency that the additional percentage isn't worth anyway. So that's how you get innovations. In a later guide to manage the country, I will show how you most easily get a higher research efficiency. Now, the innovations. Generally, you can do whatever you want. The Imperator is very versatile in what you can do. However, some very much recommended techs are these. These give 10% discipline, and then later you also want for more legions and more discipline, but these are for safe techs to start with, as almost any country, because they'll heavily improve your units. Another very important tech can be found here, centralized production. In vanilla, that tech, I believe, is here. This is using Invictus. Because that unlocks foundries, the single best building in the game. So once you've got some money and like you're able to start building stuff, you're 50 years into the game, definitely worth unlocking this for the building. Generally, this tree, if you use heavy infantry, this is very good, but generally you want the siege ability and the siege engineers. Siege engineers is kind of a special modifier, as in it gives you a single extra siege tech. So basically, you start with +1 on the siege. If you can stack some of these, you can do really fast sieging. So this tech and this tech and this tech. But generally, these 3 techs are the best part of the tree and are must-haves. Naval techs, usually not worth it unless you're playing multiplayer. Some countries, like the Indians, have special techs giving naval range and diplo range. These are must-have techs. As you can see, my diplo range only extends to Oman at the moment, and up to Parthia. If I take these, I can reach quite a lot further, meaning more potential trade, more potential diplomacy. But that's only if you have these special techs. This one also unlocks maritime laws. Maritime laws are quite good as they give commerce income, one of the best modifiers in the game, and usually the carrier of your economy. You also have naval supply lines. If you really want to focus on siege, you need to go down the naval tree too. Civic, generally, this is basically the money tree, national tax, and the commerce bonuses, which can be found here. And also all the way down here, you get some very good bonuses, research efficiency, capital bonuses if you're playing tall, but like all of these will boost your income by a lot. This one's also very much worth it as it decreases the wages for characters, which is usually the most expensive part in your country, besides the armies itself. Good tree, focus on the money. If you're like Moria, you'll probably have more taxes than commerce, but most nations will have more commerce than taxes, so focusing on the commerce income. Or export modifiers, like this one, export value is more worth it. The right tree, quite easy. Generally, you're probably going to go down here for the excess slaves needed surplus. More on that in the economic guide. Taxation laws to unlock them, which are some decent laws giving you can do a pop crop one. You don't have to. But then generally, you do this tree to get either urban or rural planning. If you're playing tall, you'll want to go urban planning because it boosts your cities. More on that in the economic guide. Otherwise, you want rural planning. So most nations will get rural planning unless you're playing in like Greece or just any tall country. If you're a tribe, you'll generally want to rush down petition of minorities for the cheaper found city costs to get your tech efficiency and economy up. Cultural administration is good, as it gives pop assimilation speed. And the rest, not too important. This one's special because it means in multiplayer, you can no longer have your mercs be bribed from you. This tag gives base morale, a very rare modifier, also very good. Depends on your build, really, what you want to do. Oratory, this is for managing your aggressive expansion. Generally, if you have high AE, you want to take, or if you plan to conquer a lot, at least take the first 3 techs here to get this one, reducing AE impacts. Some good ones the further you go down. This unlocks the Imperial Challenge CB, meaning every territory you occupy gets transferred to you. If you want to do world conquest or become extremely large, you're gonna need this tech. That's the most important part of this tree. This tree has some bonuses for being tall, free population. Don't overestimate it though, it's usually better to conquer stuff than to get just 5 pops. More PI, which you'll need for a lot of things. Less corruption, very good, as it can save you a lot of money. More research. But generally, you don't want to go down here unless you're playing a very particular build and are looking for these bonuses. Contract laws here, which I believe is this one. The monthly wage for characters can be good. But that's about it. Religious advances. Very important tree because this has one of the single most important techs as a monarchy. When I go down to the left, these give bonuses to happiness and pop growth mainly. And I go down here, probably down here, or down here, doesn't matter. Because this tech, that's a really important one, it gives the conversion policy laws. Why is that overpowered? Because they give base pop conversion speed and a modifier, or base pop assimilation speed and a modifier. These are really good. Really good. More on that on which laws to choose. But basically, there is no campaign where you don't want this tech. You should go down here relatively soon. If you're in a country which has to convert a lot, like Bactria, which is Hellenic but is not in an Hellenic piece of the world, you're gonna also have to go down to Formulaic Warship for a lot faster pop conversion. Also, another very good tech, if you do go down here, auxiliary recruitment gives levy size multiplier. Very good, increases your army size by probably around 10 to 15%, depending on how big of a modifier you have. The right side gives some food bonuses. The icon always shows modifiers, civ bonuses. But better stuff is down here, research efficiency, a lot of food. And then if you want more manpower, you can go down here. Generally, unless you're in multiplayer, you're not going to go down these lower levels. So that is a general guide on inventions. To summarize, the best inventions are the discipline techs up here and later these two, both for unlocking the legions and for the discipline bonuses. The centralized production tech, sapping, should also always go for. If you're in the east, always go down monsoon navigation for the Diplo range. Civic, generally you're going to want either urban or rural planning. Petition of minorities if you're a tribe. And then you also, most campaigns you're going to go down here for more money. This is basically infinite free money. Oratory, you're going to want defending liberty, as any country that conquers a lot. Otherwise, the most important tech here is if you want to do a world conquest or really large conquests, you need to go all the way down here for the Imperial Challenge. This usually not worth it. Town Criers is decent. For religious, the single most important tech is prescribed canon. If you need to convert a lot, formulaic worship. For larger armies, auxiliary recruitment. As you can see, all of them are marked as important techs, usually, or best ones. And that's about it. That's your most important techs in the game.